What's this? What was that? Okay. Okay, so Shalom Ubracha. Please excuse the noise. I don't know what they're doing. Some guy's banging on metal, whatever.
Being recorded?
Yes, it's being recorded. Okay, fine. So we want to go into a little bit of what's happening right now in the world. I was trying to think of what to talk about. And since everybody, all of our Jewish friends throughout the world have their eyes on us now, and this war and Persia, Iran, and what's happening now, so we want to give a little bit of a Breslov perspective, as much as we can, about how to look at what's happening. Okay? First, and please excuse me that I don't have the exact quotation in front of me, but there is a Midrash, I think it's in Midrash Tanchuma, that talks about the time right before Mashiach comes, there will be a war between Persia, Paras, and Edom, where Persia will strike Edom, and it's one of the prerequisites for the coming of Mashiach, for the final wars and everything. So on a simple level, you see that happening now, that Iran, for the first time ever, has really got involved to attacking Israel. Last year was just like a test, whatever, but now it's like real big time. So now in Breslov circles, there was a Breslov elder from the previous generation. His name was Rav Binyamin Ze'ev Cheshen. They called him in Yiddish Velvel Cheshen. You can read about him in the recent Breslov book in English by the BRI called The Century of Growth. You can see a little bit about this amazing tzaddik, Rav Binyamin Ze'ev Cheshen. He knew Kabbalah, he knew how to read people's hands, he knew how to read people's foreheads. Someone once told me that when he was a bachur learning in yeshiva in Israel, they were very scared about Rav Cheshen because he was able to read the forehead and see, you did this and this and that. So they would walk around with their hats covering their foreheads so you couldn't read their foreheads. That's like in the 1970s, 1960s, 1970s, okay? So this Rav Cheshen...
That's Chochmat
HaPartzav, exactly. Chochmat HaPartzav. So, Rav Cheshen, when there was the 6-day war, when there was the Yom Kippur War, or any wars in the Golan in the early 1980s, he passed away in 1989. Whenever there was any of these wars, so he asked the Breslovers who were like into the news, the Nayas. You have Breslovers who knew what's happening in the world, those type of people. He asked always, is Iran involved? Always he asked, is Iran involved? And they would say, no, Iran is not involved. He said, okay. and they inferred, when Iran gets involved, that's like something big, which fits in with the Midrash, that the prerequisite before Mashiach's coming is Iran, Persia, which is Iran, getting involved. Okay? So on one hand, you have this Midrash, and what's happening now, you have this Breslover saying that now they're talking about it, that Rav Cheshen, he would flip out if they found out that Iran was involved in everything. So things are heated up. On the other hand, there's many oral traditions from Rebbe Nachman and Rav Nosson, especially in the book Tzaddik Chaim Moran, that Mashiach will come behesach hadat. First of all, it's a Gemara, but it was emphasized a lot in Rebbe Nachman's teachings that he's going to be coming unexpectedly. There's one amazing paragraph in the book Tzaddik Chaim Moran that Rav Nosson, after hearing Rebbe Nachman talk about Mashiach and a lesson related to it, so he went into the idea that no one will believe that that's Mashiach. In other words, that's Mashiach, and in the commentary, in how Rav Nosson is explaining it, it's not just like who Mashiach will be. Rebbe Nachman once said that even the parents of Mashiach, they won't be so People think Mashiach will be like some Rebbe who has like a major lineage of tzaddikim and tzaddikim and tzaddikim. Rebbe Nachman says he'll come when the Gemara says that he'll come behesach hadat, unexpectedly, it also means, number one, first of all, the pshat is unexpected, at a time when no one's looking. They can't believe he's going to be Mashiach, him of all people? No way, come on. They thought for sure him or him or him. And hesach hadat means the place you least expected Mashiach to come from, that's where he's gonna come from. So it's referring to the time and to the person. And Rav Nosson extends it, so you can understand from how Rav Nosson's talking. And it's also like unexpected. People are like looking here in that way, and all of a sudden Mashiach comes like from there, on the other side. So it's something which is unexpected. So people are like looking. Every Jew is anticipating Mashiach. It's one of the 13 midot of the Rambam, right? One of the 13 things that we ani ma'amin, I believe in. Bebiata Mashiach, right? We believe in Mashiach. We talk about Mashiach every day. We yearn and we daven, and yet he's going to come unexpected. If you're looking here and you're yearning for him to come here, he's going to come from a place that you didn't even think about. That's how it's going to happen. It's Be'esach Hadat. That's one thing. Another thing is the whole idea of Gog and Magog. If you look in the book of Yecheskel, chapters 37, 38, so Yecheskel the prophet is talking about prophesying and prophecies about what will be when Gog and Magog arrive, and that's the time, obviously, before Mashiach's arrival. And if you look at the verses there, it talks about nations coming to the Holy Land, including Persia. Paras is mentioned as one of them. Tuval, Meshech, all these names of nations joining with Gog and Magog. The nation is Magog. Gog is the king of Magog. Okay? So you have all these verses also, and it's understood on the simple level of Torah teachings that there will be a seemingly physical war of Gog and Magog. That's how the simple explanation is in the verses, in the prophets, in Zechariah, who talks about Gog and Magog, and Yecheskel, who also talks about Gog and Magog. However, we have an oral tradition from Rav Nosson. Okay, this was heard from Rebbe Leo Chaim Rosen, one of the elders who built the Breslov Shul in Yerushalayim in Mashiach. He said like this, quoting Rav Nosson. Rav Nosson said that when he wrote in front of Rebbe Nachman, when Rav Nosson received from Rebbe Nachman what's called Megillat Setarim. We have to explain a bit about Megillat Setarim. Megillat Setarim, once, when Rebbe Nachman was traveling in his wagon, and he had next to him Rav Nosson, Rav Naftali, and then two other men, one of them being the son-in-law of Rebbe Nachman, all of a sudden, unexpectedly, Rebbe Nachman started to reveal what's going to take place before Mashiach comes. And he mentioned various things, okay? And he said no more than two people per generation are allowed to know about this. That means, of you two, Rav Nosson, Rav Naftali, whoever of the two of you passes on first, the second one can then reveal it to someone else. And I take responsibility about the two other people who are on the side of the wagon, Rebbe Nachman's son-in-law and the other person, that they know nothing about what we're talking about. And that's exactly what happened. That afterwards Rav Nosson wanted to see if these guys knew and heard and remembered what Rebbe Nachman spoke about, the secrets before Mashiach comes. They knew nothing. They heard nothing. They heard other things. So Rav Nosson understood Rebbe Nachman wiped out of their memory or made a block that they didn't hear anything at all. Okay? So Rav Nosson, Rav Naftali revealed things about Mashiach's coming, Mashiach's arrival. So Rav Nosson said afterwards that of the things mentioned in Megillat Setarim, the secrets before Mashiach's arrival, Rebbe Nachman did not mention at all anything about a physical war with Gog and Magog, as is the simple understanding of the prophets, that there's going to be a war Gog and Magog. He said Rebbe Nachman didn't mention anything about a physical war. So I understand that this is a spiritual war. And what is the spiritual war of Gog and Magog? It's the crazy assimilation of Jews worldwide that has been prevalent for at least the last 250 years. You have to realize that before the Reform movement, before Moses Mendelssohn in the mid-1700s, 1750, 1760, the majority of Jews in the world were observant Jews. The majority, or even all. You had certain Jews who became apostates and they became mumarim, they went to become to Islam, they went to Christianity. But it was like minority. The majority of Jews everywhere, in North Africa, in Asia, in Europe, up to 1700s, the Jews were observant Jews. You have, again, those who stick out, you have wicked people here and there, but the mass majority of Jews were in line with Torah observance. It was only since the Haskalah, enlightened movement began with the Reform Judaism in Germany, that Jews began to think twice. They said, why do we have to observe? Why do we have to follow? We can also be reformed. We can also adopt to the nations. And that's sunk in already from the time of the Baal Shem Tov into Rebbe Nachman's time, and it's still we have today. That we are now, unfortunately, in a situation where the majority of the Jews in the world, as I say, 15 million Jews, 16 million Jews, as many Baruch Hashem religious families as there are having like 7, 8, 9, 10 kids, still it has not yet caught up to the majority bulk of the Jewish nation, where the majority of Jews in the world are non-observant. They have no clue what's happening. They're detached totally. Whether it's here in Israel, the majority of the Jews are what's called chilonim, secular Jews, or all the more so in North America and Canada and America, where the majority of Jews are also assimilated. Okay, assimilation is and secular Judaism is prevalent. Okay, this Rav Nosson said is the war of Gog and Magog. This is Gog and Magog. That the atheism that has attacked the Jewish people and seems to have the upper hand, this is Gog and Magog. And that means we're in the middle of the war of Gog and Magog. And therefore our weapons, and Rav Nosson saw to it, he saw that Rebbe Nachman's teachings is the greatest weapon to count the heresy and the kfirah and the lack of emunah that Jewish people have, and have the ability to enlighten Jews and wake them up. Rav Nosson saw Rebbe Nachman's teachings as a lifesaver, sent when there was a storm that has struck and people are drowning, that Hashem sent Rebbe Nachman and his teachings and his light to save the Jews, which is what pushed Rav Nosson the maximum he could his whole life to spread as much as possible Rebbe Nachman's light and teachings. Whether it was in making sure there's the Rosh Hashanah gathering in Uman, whether it was building the shul in Uman for the gathering, whether it was printing the books and writing his own insights and disseminating and teaching and talking to people and getting the word out, he did as much as he could, but he got the ball running. And that's what Rebbe Nachman said, my fire will burn until Mashiach comes. Until Mashiach comes includes within it the period of Gog and Magog, until the coming of Mashiach B'ezrat Hashem. So this is on another Breslov perspective of what's going on in the world. Where do we have to look? How should we view what's happening? And what do we have to do? What we for sure have to do is we have to invest more than any other time, more Torah study, more davening, more emunah, more speaking to people, more doing good deeds, and above all else, to be besimcha. One of Rebbe Nachman's main teachings about how to bring Mashiach is in lesson 24, Likutei Moran, where Rebbe Nachman says, quoting the verse from Isaiah, Ki besimcha tetzeu, for with joy you will leave, which means, on the simple meaning, that when Mashiach comes, so the Jews will leave the diaspora with joy. They'll be accompanied with joy when leaving. Rebbe Nachman says it's more than this. The prerequisite, if you want to really get Mashiach moving and the Geulah coming, you have to already live in Mashiach mode, which is a joyous attitude. As crazy as things are happening on a national level, on a family level, on a personal level, between you and yourself, you and Hashem, without all these crazy things happening, your weapon should be, and you should always be turning to, finding simcha as the avenue, as the key to jump in. On one hand, to run away, yes, from everything, but on the other hand, it's how you deal with everything, is the simcha attitude. So Rav Nosson points out, based on this, that the whole goal of exile, the whole galut, and the bondage and exile itself, the main feature of exile is atzvut, is sadness. The goal of the goyim who hate the Jewish people, again, nationally, personally, whatever, is they can't stand that these people are happy, and they want them to be sad like themselves. Because if the goyim were truly happy, if these Arabs who are against us and the people against us were really happy, they wouldn't waste their time on us. They wouldn't waste their time running after us. If you're so happy, what do you want to kill me for? If a person's happy with themselves, they don't look at other people. The fact that you're always looking, no, we have to destroy this because you're not happy. Hitler wasn't happy with himself. No, we have to kill the Jews. We have to do this. The economy is down. They're not happy. So they turn outward. That's a jealousy. Because they're not happy. If they were happy, they wouldn't run after us. We, on the other hand, we're not looking to bother anybody. We're trying to serve Hashem, trying to do mitzvah, trying to do good. And Baruch Hashem, the Torah is conducive to being happy. Davening, Judaism, mitzvah is conducive. It's na'im, Rebbe Nachman says. It's pleasant, the way of a Jewish Torah observant way of living. It's not, oh, it's a burden, oh, it's a killer. When you learn about it, you understand it, you connect to it, you believe in it, it becomes the most happiest thing to do. People anticipate Shabbat, Kiddush, eating, wow, what an amazing thing. Yom Kippur, what I accomplished with the fasting Yom Kippur. I'm not saying, oh, here we go again, fasting, and my stomach's going to churn. I don't have the attitude anymore. When you learn more about it, and what it does, the Pnimiyut, Chassidut, for example, everything is joyous. So the nations, they don't have this. That's why they're after us. At least those going who are against us and negative and hate us. The reason is they're not happy. Because if you were happy, what are you looking at me for? Why are you wasting your time on me? You're not happy. That means that's galut. That's exile. And the reason why there's hatred against us, to throw us, to pull us in to their sadness. No, it's not enough that I'm sad and you're happy. If I'm sad, you have to be sad also. I don't want you to be happy. I have an envy and hatred against you guys because you guys are happy people. I'm not happy. They try to give excuses. Our religion says this, and we have to kill the Jews and this and that. That's all excuses. Because you have other goyim who observe the same type of religion, and they're not trying to kill Jews. Because they're okay. They're working, they have their life and everything. They're trying to enjoy themselves in this world. But those who have hatred, it's only, Rebbe Nachman writes, because of sadness. They're not happy with themselves, and they express it on others. They express it on anti-Semitism, against the Jewish people. So because of that, Rebbe Nachman writes, our main weapon against all our enemies, physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, is simcha. Remember that famous picture, I think I brought this up many times, the famous picture from the Holocaust of the Nazi with scissors cutting off the beard of an old Jew, or the white beard of the Jew, in Poland, I guess, and the Jew smiling at the Nazi guard, as if to say, you can't destroy me, you can't bring me down, you're cutting my beard, you're trying to ruin my religion, make me feel bad, you didn't win. I'm still smiling, I'm still here, I'm holding on. This is our greatest weapon, more than anything else, is the idea of being besimcha. And when you feel you're being attacked, and the panic, oh, another missile's falling and this and that, be happy. It was funny, because this week, I gave a shir on Sunday, and afterwards, after the shir, thank God, the siren in Jerusalem went off. So I was with the host of the people in the building, and they all went down to the miklat underground, the basement, which is like bomb shelter basement. And the 95% of the people in the building are all English speakers, all Americans. Okay? So I go to their bomb shelter, I see a table with drinks and cups and bamba and chips and Doritos and cakes. And then we're sitting down, someone brings a guitar and they're playing music and they're happy. And mama's like, like that. It's not that they're talking the schmoozy. It's like also, it's the best time to meet the neighbors. Where are you from? Where are you learning? Oh yeah, I know your grandfather. I know your uncle. Yeah, in Miami, in Boca Raton, yeah, and in New Jersey, and where you're from Rockaway. Yeah. So you see they're all schmoozing. And they're all happy. It was amazing. It was like the opposite of, oh my God, like they're waiting to hear a bomb, like a blow up or anything. Other people don't have that, so they're nervous. They're sitting on needles. That attitude was amazing for me to see that people are mamash happy, and that's that's what is expected of us right now. On one hand, with the daven from Israel, on the other hand, people are being killed, right? There are people, unfortunately, who were killed with some missiles landing. Okay, I mourn as part of the Jewish people. It hurts me. I say Tehillim and everything, but I'm not going to let that hurt push me to depression. It's forbidden from the brokenheartedness that I have, the mourning, to fall into depression and be black. And people, they start like going all through the posts on Telegram or on WhatsApp, all the negative news. Oh, this bomb warning, and the pictures of missiles, and it just puts them in the black area. People, unfortunately, have the tendency to try to hear news, and because the majority of the news is bad news, like negative news of a bomb landing and a missile being shot, so it puts people in a worried attitudes, and that's not good. That gets you into negativity. Negativity brings you to distress. Distress brings you to depression, sadness. That's the goal. So we have to get out of that. Our weapon now, more than anything else, is to be besimcha. Because the verse reads, Ki besimcha tetzeu, with joy, through joy. Rebbe Nachman interprets besimcha as through joy you will leave. That's what's expected of us, Bezrat Hashem, is to work on being besimcha. And again, we daven. I hurt when I heard a boy was found dead, people found under the debris. It hurts me. For sure it hurts me. For sure it hurts, okay? Doesn't hurt? I was at a wedding last night, and the wedding hall canceled because you can't have a wedding in a hall. So they made a small wedding on a rooftop, open rooftop. Baruch Hashem was small, but everybody was happy in the end. And again, it's like that was a good example that the Yetzer Hara, ruined their simcha, all the wedding hall canceled, all the preparations and everything. The Chatan and Kala were so happy because they knew we're making the best out of it. It was someone's house. It was like an open porch, 2 porches for the chuppah and then for the tables, and everybody was so happy. There was DJ, there was music, and only after we finished like the wedding ceremonies, maybe there was like a warning for a warning for missiles, a warning alert for missiles, which never happened in the end. But the point is, we have to work on being b'simcha, and it's so clear. It's so clear. So to go back, signs of Mashiach. Yes, there are signs, but don't build on them. Don't build your day. So Mashiach any day now, and then you don't do what you have to do. What you do, people have this big mistake. When they're like something, anxiety comes to them. Okay, we have to now close everything, say the whole book of Tehillim, and do that, and do this, and they throw their schedule off for other devotions which they feel are priority because it's like a panic. On one hand, I can understand that, but on the other hand, the anxiety you have in doing it is not going to get you that far. Okay? It's better continue the good that you're already doing. If you have seder and learning and davening, continue it. Don't say, I have to, what's it called? I have to relate to the national pain and tragedy and war, so I have to push my whole schedule off and dedicate for the Jewish people right now. When you do hefkerut, Rebbe Nachman talks about this. A person who tries to go extreme, even for a good cause, can be detrimental for them afterwards. When you do things and you want to add additional things, do it little pieces. Don't throw everything off. Okay, now we have to throw everything off and now jump to do this. Everyone, now the whole book of Tehillim, stop everything. We'll stop everything. You take me from my lifeline. I have my daily sedarim and Torah study and my bodedut. I don't have to push everything off now to go nuts because of the national tragedy. There are people who think like that. What happens is, because they got pushed off due to anxiety of doing things, and then they fall down chas v'shalom altogether. And we don't need that. What's needed? You're doing good already. What the good you're doing good is not enough. It's not good. It's not good. It's not enough to help Am Yisrael. What you're doing is helping Am Yisrael like crazy. Your seder that you have in Torah study, your daily seder that you have in your bodedut, and your likutei tefillot, and in your tzedakah, all that you don't have to push off already. A person who has anyways not doing anything in his life, fine. But you as a good person, as a good, you're already doing good stuff. Why push that off and then throw yourself off because, I have to relate now for the national cause. I have to drop everything and go do this, go do that, to go to the chayalim and do that. Everything in balance, everything in proportion. People who don't have that, then let them do that. Let them go to do things extreme because anyways they're not doing anything. But you as a Jew who's trying to have a seder in life to serve Hashem, a seder in life to do good, and it's not just for you, it's for Am Yisrael. Why do you have to move that? Why have to change that? You're saying Tikkun HaKlali already every day. Great. No, for the Jewish people now, I have to say 10 Tikkun HaKlalis every day. You have people like that. And it's funny because they throw themselves off totally. And then what happens when you go extreme? Any extremity, you just drop it. You fall. And Rebbe Nachman talks about this. Rebbe Nachman also. He says sometimes a person feels that there's one thing that's a big, big mitzvah, and he's mafkir everything else. He throws everything else off for that thing, and in the end is it's a trap from the Yetzer Hara. Rebbe Nachman talks about the traps of the Yetzer Hara, where the Yetzer Hara even uses mitzvot to fool a person. A person thinks Yetzer Hara, he comes looking like, Rambo, like a Terminator, like evil, and guns, and machine guns, and Yetzer Hara doesn't come like that, because he knows when you see him like that, for sure you want to listen to him. The Yetzer Hara comes with a big shtreimel, beautiful payas, nice long beard, and he comes like from the religious side, and he tries to use, rationale, we should do this and this and that, and all to get you off from what you're really doing. You have to be saved from the Yetzer Hara. He says, Rebbe Nachman, that a seder, Torah study consistently, it gives a person enough intellect and intuition to know when what's coming his way is from the Yetzer Hara or it's from the Kedusha. Okay? So it's a big thing. A person needs a zchut to know when to be thrown off and when not. Right now, It's not a time to be thrown off, okay? And even if it was, panicking and, oh my God, we have to do this, is not the attitude. To finish off, when in 1948, there was the War of Independence here, okay? And the Jordanians took over the old city of Jerusalem. So they evacuated. They took hostage the men, able working men, middle-aged men, young men, and they let the women and children go and the old people go. So it was a dangerous time because no one knew what was going to be. No one knew. It wasn't like they knew what was going to happen, okay? Because people were being killed, people were being shot. There were the groups of the young Zionists who were trying to fight off the legion of the Jordanian army, etc. Okay, so Rav Avram Sternhartz, he was like in his late 80s. He was an elder, a Breslov elder. And the day that the evacuation took place was on a Friday afternoon, right before Shabbat. Okay, so people were panicking. They said pikuach nefesh. People were looking for their child, and this child, the mother was running around. Everybody was upside down, and this older man in his late 80s, he had such calmness of the mind. People were shocked. They asked him, how are you so calm? He says, he went through so many pogroms already. He went through World War I, pre-World War II, World War II, and all the difficulties that were in between by the KGB in Russia and the Ukraine in 1920s until he emigrated to Israel in 1935, 1936. He went through so much, so he's not anymore scared and panicked by dangerous situations because he went through so much life and death situations. Okay? He was so calm. He prepared challahs for Shabbos. Like he took with him challahs that were made for Shabbos and the grape juice. That way, when the Jews were kicked out of the old city and they were placed, the refugees were placed in the meantime in a place outside called Nachalat Shiva. So after they got settled, they realized it's Shabbos now, Friday night, and they asked anybody bring kiddush, wine, and motzi. The old man, he's the only one who brought the kiddush, the wine, Rabbi Sternhartz's Breslover, and the challah, and they were all thankful that he was able in a time of distress to think about this. And that's an amazing lesson, to remember your priorities. If you're so dedicated to what's the priority of life, so when you're squeezed and when you're under pressure and it's scary distress, you don't forget about them. You don't forget about priorities. You don't lose your head because of the distress and everything. You keep your head intact on your shoulders and remember the right thing to do. That's an amazing example. That also now, of the craziness, there are some people, like I said, they feel they have to relate to the national cause, so they're all day on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on the news. What did Trump say now? And what did Bibi say now? And what's this now? All day wasting, instead of doing other good things. They admit afterwards, I just wasted, an hour, 2 hours, and nothing came out of it. I'm just feeling worse than before. I have an aunt. She's saying, I'm sick of the news. I'm sick of the news already. So I told her, so stop watching the news. Stop watching. If it's making you sick, that's what Yitzhak is doing. But I have to feel, I'm here stuck in New Jersey, and I have to feel some relationship to Eretz Yisrael, some cause. But that's not the way. You want to do something around Israel? So if you're not doing anything anyways, say Tehillim, say the whole book of Tehillim, do chesed for the soldiers, whatever, do something good. If you're already doing, so do that. Don't now throw it off track for something which is extreme. So this is our perspective. This should be a suggested perspective for now, and not to flip out. Take things with simcha now that we're so close now. We have now approximately maximum 200 and something years maximum until the year 6000, that Mashiach can come any day. Be'ita or achishena. Be'ita in its time, which is whenever it'll be, or achishena. Hashem says I can make it faster to come before the time. It can happen any time right now, but our thing, if you're doing good, continue doing it, okay? If you're not doing good, then start doing good, okay? But wasting time and then dropping what you're doing already for other things, there's no room for that. Plus, be besimcha. Take a look, just when you stay on, you step back, and then you hear information coming to you. The miracles that have been happening with this war are far more greater than the disasters. There has been disasters, there's been death, unfortunately, but the miracles are tons times more than the disaster. So you can't forget that. Midat tova meruba, the good has the upper hand and is what to be happy about. And the rejoicing and simcha has to be also the upper hand in your life. You don't let the mourning and disaster ruin your day. I can't work today. I can't drink my cup of coffee because my head is upside down. What happened? This and that. Take it easy. Take it easy. What's even funnier is the people in Chutz La'aretz. They think like we're being bombed every second. Like, we're living in like pachad and everything, because that's what the media portrays and shows them, right? But the reality is, we're outside in the sun. The sky is beautiful. Life continues. Kids are going to learn Cheder still. They're learning Torah because the whole world stands on the Jewish children learning Torah. It's true the Kotel is closed, so you can daven outside. King David's grave is closed, so you can daven outside. Kever Rachel is closed, you can daven outside. You can walk around technically. Okay, you're not living in a panic. So Baruch Hashem, it's not as bad as people portray it to be, and that's how it always is. People portray things to be much worse. They see a picture, an image, oh my God, it's really bad. The Yetzar uses the faculty of imagination to make things appear much worse than they actually are. It's like I had a neighbor, she was a Holocaust survivor. Mrs. Rebbetzin Fleischer, of blessed memory. She was in Bergen-Belsen at the day that the soldiers, the Allied forces came to rescue them. So she said they were all just bones and skin in the Holocaust uniform. And when for the first time, when the British guards, the British forces, and then the Americans saw these Jewish people in the condition, they started to cry. And she writes, we're already used to it. We're used to seeing each other like this, and we're able to live. But they took it as such a shock, seeing walking skeletons, you see something from outside, so it's much worse than it actually is. She's saying, but we were used to it already, and they were functioning, they were moving. She was crawling. They had no koach, no strength to walk, but they were crawling. They were very close to dying, but they were holding on. And the panic of the soldiers, like they started to cry, they didn't know what to do. They tried to help this. They tried to give all the food they had to the Jews. Some died from eating the food because they couldn't eat sauerkraut. They couldn't eat foods that are not digestible on such a very bad situation. They needed milk and delicate foods, whatever. But that's how it is normally. People from outside, they see things much worse than it actually is. And sometimes it's good because it pushes people to wake up. But when it comes to throwing people into distress, anxiety, fear, and then depression, it's no good. That's where you have to make a wall, and to say Ad Kan, up to here, and then work on remembering yourself to be b'simcha. We should be zoche to leave this war with simcha, be b'simcha, and through that greet Mashiach. How come? Like Rebbe Nachman said, unexpected. And you have no idea from where, from who, it'll happen, B'ezrat Hashem. Okay, Yasher Koach. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Any questions, anyone?
I don't think people have questions. Everything was clear.
I'm sure it was, but just maybe they have some chidushim, you know what I'm saying?
Chidushim, yes. That's nice to hear. All right.
But Mayor, you should be Yashikoyev for the chizuk.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you so much, Habibi.
All right, you can send me the recording, please.
B'simcha Rabbah.
People I wanted to...
For sure,
All
for
right,
sure.
Shkoyach. Take care.